Welcome to the CNC Connection, an all-in-one podcast that touches upon a variety of topics ranging from sports to TV shows. Here are your hosts, the 9 experts on everything, Colin and Corey. Hey guys, welcome to the CNC Connection. This is Corey and Joe today. Colin doesn't watch the Newsroom, so I decided we'll just keep him out of it because he doesn't want to give it a chance, but, you know, sometimes you just don't want to watch a show, and I respect that. So we're going to keep it shorter today. We're resuming episode 4. I'll try to fix you. Right off the bat, Joe, where would you rate this episode along with the other 3?
I had mixed feelings about it. It was somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Right in the beginning, I saw there at the party. I'm like, oh, great, here we go. It's going to be one of those relationship emotional episodes. It's going to detract from the news. And it pretty much did, I guess, for the most part.
Right. I thought the opening scene was interesting when Mackenzie, I think her name is, her boyfriend came in and talked to him about financial regulators. I guess he's a fraud investigator, and he just wanted to give his side of the story. And so I thought that was interesting.
Right.
But then they quickly got away from that, and I thought the Bigfoot thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I thought that was like one of the more. If it would have been fine if it was just one scene, but they just kept going back and like really beating a dead horse, I guess, with it. It just wasn't. I don't understand what they were trying to prove with it. It wasn't funny after the first one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And no educated person believes in that, and even if they did, they would probably keep it to themselves.
Right.
You know? But I just thought it was silly, and yeah, and they just didn't let it go. They kept going back to it, like you said.
Well, I figured it was going to build up to something like Will just finally, snapping and going off on him, which he never really did. He just kept saying no,
Yeah.
So I guess
I thought they got one good gag out of it when the Indian guy there that believes in Bigfoot walked up to him at the party. And he says, "Is this a bad time to talk?" And
yeah. And then he
goes, "Yeah, shoot." And he goes, "Bigfoot's real." And he goes, "Get away from me."
Yeah, he says, "Fuck off" or something. Or
yeah, I thought that was funny, but
yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah, after that, they should have just, let it die.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it was kind of pretentious how they did this, but I did like how he was calling out all those gossips, kind of like People Magazine and TMI, whatever TMI was, like the TMZ, the celebrity gossip,
right,
like aspect of media. He's like, it's not news, you're just hurting people. And I agree with that, but the way they did it seemed kind of pretentious, like the way he went about it.
I think that was the message, that, every show kind of has a message.
Right.
And, the message was that, those tabloid magazines just, they don't do any good. It's just like a guilty pleasure for some people, and that those people really have no heart,
Yeah, I mean, you're just hurting someone's, feelings, basically, and not
you're
giving them privacy.
You're making a living off of taking people down, is pretty much what
and he's like, you call it a takedown piece, like you actually call it that, and
yep.
I thought it was a good message. It was just a little pretentious, but since it was a good message, I can get on board with it.
Right. So I too, with him walking up to that woman at the party, who turned out to be a gossip columnist.
Right.
I had 2 things with that. One is, he was all pretending like he was like, "Oh, I'm not good at this, and I don't know what to do," and
right.
blah blah blah. But in the show before, he had a new woman coming in every night to go out with him. And
I mean, he's famous apparently, and
right. And I got
his job is to be good with people, basically, because he's on the news and he's talking to people all the time. I had a hard time believing that too.
Yeah, and plus, he was going out with these smoking hot women, like a different one every night, and
right.
He didn't have any problem talking to them, evidently, and I got the idea he was kind of a womanizer,
Right.
But so I just didn't buy any of that. And then it's a complete, it's a huge coincidence that that was the woman he chose to walk up to.
Right.
And she was actually, I mean, you find out in the end, she was actually planted there by Jane Fonda.
Right.
I
don't know if it was so much that she was planted. I mean, was she actually planted there?
Well, because
that seems like a long shot. They're
she
just
was
going to put her at the
behind
party.
the whole orchestrated thing to get him in the tabloids.
Okay, I didn't know. Like, it just seems like a long shot that Jane Fonda's like, oh, we're just going to put her here, and then Will's going to go up, and then
right.
But I guess she was just there to watch him, apparently.
But that's what the insinuation was at the end, that there was some kind of orchestrated thing. And yeah, maybe she was just there to maybe pick up anything on him that she could write about. But he actually chose to walk up to her. So I guess I could buy that. But then it turned into a whole, they were showing everybody's date, everybody's bad date.
I know. It showed them in bed. What's the blonde girl's name? And Don. And I kind of like Don's character. He's a dickhead, but I don't know. I can reason with him. It just seems like everyone else on the show was just like a written character. They're not real,
He seems to be like a real newsman, so I don't know. And I think, I think eventually that blonde girl's going to end up with the other guy who was alone.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. They've been hinting at it since episode 1,
Yeah.
It's just so predictable in that regard, the way they're playing that whole thing out.
I think I cared about that at first, but I don't know if I do anymore.
Well, they just keep hitting us over the head with it with a shovel for the most part, It's like, okay, just fucking get it over with because it's not going anywhere. It's not interesting, Right. If I wanted this, I'll watch fucking Degrassi,
Right.
Which I do, but that's besides the point. But, I don't know. The whole relationship aspect of the show, it just I can't get on board with it. Even the Maggie and Will, it's not interesting to me.
No.
I wish the whole point of the show is supposed to be the news, and for the most part, this episode wasn't really about that at all until the end, where it actually got pretty good with the whole Arizona congressman
and they were
shooting.
just really just using the shooting there of Gabrielle Giffords there.
Yeah.
To show that even though everybody's fighting with each other, when real news happens, they all just drop what they're doing
get along.
There was sort of a big revelation at the end there about his non-compete clause. Clause.
Did they mention that in the first episode that he put a non-compete clause in there? But this is the first time she found out, right?
Right. Well, at the first episode they say that they reveal that he renegotiated his contract.
Yeah.
And took $1 million less per year, so that he could have the option to fire her after every end of every week.
Yep.
But she found out in this episode that he also signed a non-compete clause as part of that deal.
Yeah, which is pretty messed up.
So if he gets fired, he can't work anywhere for 3 years.
Yep.
And so that's what the whole gossip thing was about. They were trying to get him to...
they wanted to get him to fuck up so they could fire him, make him make a bad press, basically, and so they had a reason to fire him because he's such a well-respected newsman.
Right.
Yeah.
Either that or he just would listen to Jane Fonda and tone it down.
Yeah.
Because he went after the Tea Party again about the NRA.
Yeah.
And one other interesting thing I found out in this episode was that he claims to be a Republican who's watching out for the party. He's trying to get the radical Tea Party people out of the Republican Party.
Right.
And so that's the angle he's going at. I thought he was a liberal, a Democrat who was just going after the Tea Party.
No, he mentioned before that he was a Republican.
Yeah, okay. I didn't notice that last time, but
yeah, but he says he takes what did he say? He said he's a Republican, but he's a liberal about some things, I guess.
Right.
Which I think that everyone should take that kind of stance. You can't just side wholeheartedly with one thing. You got to mix it up.
Yeah, I'm conservative about some things and liberal about others.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, so I thought that was cool. That was a different angle to take. He is. That's why he is so concerned about the Tea Party, is because he is a Republican and
he doesn't like it.
Trying to preserve the party.
Right. So overall, I think it was kind of it had good parts, but for the most part, I didn't really. I think this is not one of their best episodes. Again, it's only episode 4, and they're still trying to establish some stuff. But at the same time, they're not really. I feel like they established everything in episode 1, and they haven't really expanded it all.
Yeah. I think they're trying to do too much. It's like they're trying to appease the people who are looking for a soap opera type thing.
It's kind of melodramatic at times.
Yeah, and and just the whole. I mean, like right at the end there, when that story broke, I was like, "Oh, cool, this is going to be good." But and then it was over.
Over in 5 minutes. Yeah.
They just used that, like I said, to show that even though they're fighting, they can all get together and do this. But
and that's like a pretty big news piece. That could have been a whole episode, like they did with the oil spill. You know, I mean that was like world breaking news for like almost 3 weeks. Back when it happened.
Right. And it just so happens he was talking about the NRA and everything, and gun ownership, and then that shooting happens. And
well, the gun ownership was actually pretty interesting. I forgot about that. Yeah, the NRA stuff. Hopefully it gets better, and hopefully they stick more to actual news instead of these campy relationships I can't really get on board with. But yeah, I mean, I'll still keep watching. How about you?
I'm gonna keep watching. It's a little bit disturbing because they have just enough in there to show you that it could be a really good show.
Right.
But we'll see. Yeah, I'll definitely keep watching. It's not a bad show.
No.
I just wish they would highlight the parts about the news itself and the way the newsroom runs and things like that.
Yep. All right, well, I guess we'll keep it shorter this week. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can tweet at us at TheCCConnection or email us at TheCCConnection@gmail.com. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
All right, take care.